All right, I thought I'd do a voice narration on a pretty short ride that I've sped up with a friend of mine who is wanting to learn more about riding. You can see when I turn my head here just a little bit, he doesn't have a helmet yet, so I hope that he gets a helmet soon. But it was just a nice ride. I chose to go to the neighborhood where I usually ride super early in the morning. Um, there was a little bit of climbing, but I tried to take the easy way up that you'll see here when we get up there. But yeah, we're just kind of tooling through here, chatting about the days. Gorgeous weather. Must have been like, I don't know, 75 degrees and hardly any wind, and just really kind of taking a stroll. I think, gosh, we were probably doing 10 or 12 miles an hour, but we got a chance to really just talk the whole time. Um, my friend and I are like in a networking group together, and it's always encouraged for us to get together to learn a little bit more about each other, so we can help each other in business. And so it was a really good time. Of course, he was open to writing again, and I told him I just need to find the weekend day because the weekends are better for him, and just let him know and set up a time. So I think, a lot of this you'll recognize from the other narration I did. Kind of go the same route when I'm going to Zilker Park or in that general area. There's that massive blue machine again. I love that thing. Um, but I didn't know if we were going to do maybe an hour or 2 hours. I really just kind of kept it to about 1 hour. I had some other work I wanted to get done. These parks on the right fill up with all kinds of parents at the right time on the weekend because they've got baseball fields and soccer fields. So it's kid friendly, that area, and not much traffic on that back road. So there's the condos on the right I used to live at. I've pointed that out in another video. Chewy's on the left, and then we take a right, almost run over to the skateboarder that's going the wrong direction in the bike lane. And we are trying like crazy to get over to this left lane so we can start heading up the way that I would normally ride early in the morning. So we do begin a little bit of super gradual uphill right here. I, uh, I didn't really anticipate going over any of the large hills. I think he also had shifters on his down tube. I think that's where they were. They weren't on his handlebars, so shifting was harder for him. And he doesn't have electronic shifters, and he's still kind of learning. It's an older bike, but it's new to him. So I didn't want to try to push him on any really steep hills. In fact, right here, we turn right on Barton Springs Parkway or something like that. This is, if we take this, it's kind of the slow uphill to get to the back of the this neighborhood. And I actually missed the turn. You'll see here in a little bit. We actually stay on this for quite some time, but I missed the turn to take us left. I was trying to avoid any big hills, but we actually had to climb at least one. But the nice thing was we turned around and went right back down it, so that was good. Let's see here. We've got some market, and what's funny is there were a lot of people out, which seems normal for something like this. That because when I usually ride through this neighborhood, it is pitch black and 5 or 5:30 in the morning. I see the same 2 or 3 people every time I go out, a couple that walks and a dude that runs. And other than that, I don't see anybody. So it's always nice to see more people out walking their dogs, jogging, riding a bike, pushing their kid. I don't know, it just helps with energy, and it just couldn't be a prettier day. But yeah, we were just kind of chatting along here, and I'm going to actually Well, I'll go ahead and talk. I think that right here is some of these aren't massive houses. It's a kind of a really well-established neighborhood. To the right, a ways, going parallel to the direction we are, is the green belt that goes down to Zilker. So I think there are ways, if you take a right, like most of these turns to the right are dead ends, because they don't cross over the green belt. There's really there's no place to cross over the green belt, at least on a road bike or a car. There's paths you could go down on, I think, on foot, and then of course cross over the Barton Springs green belt that way. And then we ended up going to Barton Creek Skyway or something like that. We're only about a block away, and then we start cutting left. I think this is about as far north as you want to go if you want to actually get back to Lamar, which I've done before because I was actually trying to get back to Lamar. So now we're heading east, pretty much, and it's going to take us to Lamar. Got a little climb here, and just trying to keep it slow. I'm not trying to push or anything like that. It really gave us a chance to talk. I think the only time we weren't chatting is the downhills. I always encourage people to just go at their own pace on the uphills and go at their own pace at the downhills, and don't like try to do what the next person's doing. Everyone has a pace that works for them, and if you try to go in somebody else's pace, you're going to blow up, or it's going to get dangerous for you. So we were just kind of doing our own thing here because these hills are pretty big. We find out when we get to the top of this that we start to get the view of Lamar not too far ahead. And I realize that there's nothing but dead-end streets to the left. There's no way to cut back into the neighborhood. So I'm thinking about, hey, we may want to turn around, and here we do it. We turn around. So we go back a couple of streets to where there's actually an outlet, and then we start getting into the neighborhood. And I can't remember if the road that we choose, which will be the next one, is I say, oh, I know where we're at, although I've never been on this road. I've been on this road, but not in this location. Another cool thing is during the day, there's all these neat houses. Some of them look like tree houses. I don't get to see those at night. It's just pitch black. I don't get to see anything, but it's really cool to see this during the daytime. I think we are getting, yes, this is part of the loop that I normally take whenever I do my early morning rides. I think, well, we're getting close. We're not already there. I look to the left at some point here and realize, oh yeah, I recognize that house or that light. So at this point, we are on the loop that I normally go on. So I think this video is going to take us really to almost completing that loop. But here we're heading back north, back towards Zilker Park. I can't remember the name of this road, but it's a nice wide road. There are no stop signs on this road, which is awesome. And there are some road humps you gotta kind of look out for. But again, this is part of my route that I do early mornings. It's 1.7 or 1.8 mile loop that I take. And, look at these trees all kind of canopied over the road. They're pretty awesome. And then here I'm now recognizing a lot of these cars on the street because they're the same ones I pass in the morning. We are getting close to making a right turn on Blue Bonnet. And then we pretty much stay on Blue Bonnet heading just the opposite direction. Now we're going to start heading a little bit east here, then it curves, and we're going to be heading south, and we are pretty much parallel with Lamar. Lamar's kind of a distance off on the left-hand side, a few blocks. Don't know for sure how far off. But what's nice about this particular route is that you're kind of on the top of a ridge, and so there isn't really a whole lot of change in elevation once you get to the loop. But getting to the loop, you definitely have some climbing to do. So yeah, we're just speeding along here on Bluebonnet, and I think the video is going to go until we take a right. And once we take that right, it is the last leg of the loop. There's only 3 right turns, and that is because the last turn we had to Bluebonnet there's a 90-degree bend in the road after that turn. So only 3 turns to make this loop, and we are actually getting quite close to making the right turn. My God, I'm turning my head a lot. It's making me dizzy. There we go. So this is the last leg. Once we come up over this hill, we'll take a right, and we'll be right where we got on the loop to begin with.